Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Sarah and this is Sarah's Truths. So today's video I'm going to be talking about what physiotherapy is. I'm going to be looking at what kind of skills you need to be a physio, but also I wanted to cover the assumptions that people have regarding the profession. I recently asked on my Instagram what people thought of when they first heard the word physio, and I got a few funny replies back which kind of highlighted the point that people have a lot of assumptions about the profession and they're not getting them the right information unless they go out themselves and find it. So I thought it'd be really important to kind of discuss what the profession is about and kind of talk about the assumptions that people have. I think also in general that there's a public misconception of what physios do, but also in the communities that I belong in outside of work, people don't really understand what we do. So I think it's important to have that conversation. One of the main assumptions I got, or one of the main pictures that people say they have when they think of the profession, physiotherapy, is that all we do is walk patients, which obviously we do walk patients, but I think it's important to kind of define what physiotherapy is. Chartered Society of Physiotherapy define physio as a profession that helps restore movement and function when someone is affected by illness, disease, or a disability. I think this is such a wordy sentence, but I kind of define physio as a profession that works with all ages to help prevent diseases, help restore movement, and also help them to become as independent as possible. I think the main aim that most physios have is to make improvements, to ease recovery, and to allow people to maintain their independence. I just wanted to touch on a few of the skills that you need to be a physio. One of the main ones I think that is very, very, very important is you need to be friendly and you need to have good communication skills, because you're going to be working with people all the time, and also you need to love working with people. If you're not a people person and you can't work with people, you will struggle in the world of physiotherapy. Another thing is you need to have a good knowledge of the human body, diseases and conditions, because again, that's what you're helping to restore movement, treat and kind of increase independence. Another skill I think that's important is able to work under pressure, because sometimes you go and you be in a treatment and you need to think on the spot because things might change, or what you thought you were going to see did not happen, etc, etc. So you need to be able to make decisions and think on the spot. And the last one that I think is really important is you need to be patient and also to be able to be calm in all situations. So overall, I think those are the skills that physios need. One of the other assumptions that people had was that physiotherapists only worked in hospitals or on the pitch or with athletes, and honestly that's far from the truth. Physiotherapists work with all ages, from babies to the elderly, but really and truly it can be broken down into three aspects, which is musculoskeletal, neuromuscular and cardiorespiratory. So I'm going to break these down a bit more. Musculoskeletal is to do with like your bones and your joints and your skeletal system. And this is, I think, where physiotherapists are popularly known, where they work with like fractures, sprains, and they're seen on like the pitch to help people when they have an injury and everyone's screaming physio, physio, and obviously like exercise prescription, and this is where people really know physios. The other aspect of physiotherapy is neuromuscular, which is to do with like your nervous system and your brain, etc. And this is where you see physios working with patients who are affected by stroke, Parkinson's and Guillain-Barré syndrome. And the other aspect of physiotherapy is cardiorespiratory, which is to do with like your heart, your blood circulation, your lungs, and the organs you use to breathe. And this is where physiotherapists work with conditions such as COPD, cystic fibrosis, pneumonia, and most commonly now known COVID-19. It's really important to highlight that physiotherapists work in different aspects of health. They work with mental health, they work with women's and men's health, but a really important aspect of physiotherapy that people don't really know about or talk about is education and advice. And I think this is really important because as physios, we help to kind of encourage our patients to really understand their conditions and to be able to help manage their conditions better, and then increase their independence as well. So that's another part. I think going back to the assumptions, I think people think that physiotherapists only work in hospitals or in clinics, but it's important to highlight that physiotherapists work in different areas. And with hospitals, they don't only work in NHS, but some work in private clinics or private hospitals, and some also work with schools and work in voluntary organisations. Or another aspect is like the armed forces, such as like the Navy or the Army. Or another aspect is such as like leisure centres and residential homes. So physiotherapists do not just work in hospitals, they work in different aspects, and they can be found almost anywhere. Right, so one of the main assumptions that I got was that physio is too hard. You need to be super smart to get into physio. You need to be super athletic. You need to like do X, Y, and Z, and it's so competitive. And I'd just like to say, yes, physio is a hard degree to study. It's a degree that everyone says that you're going to read, and trust me, you are going to be reading. You'll be reading articles for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, honestly. But I wanted to say that with all of that, once you've graduated and once you're qualified, it's such a rewarding profession. So I don't think people should box themselves out and think that it's too hard. One of the popular ones, and I think I've left the best to last, but one of the main ones that I got is, all you do is massage. Can you give me a massage? Massage, this. Honestly, we don't just do massage. I'll just like to say that. I thought I'll touch on a few of the treatment techniques that are used in physiotherapy. So one of the main ones we use is movement and exercise. And this is probably one that everyone knows, where we, for example, get patients out of bed and help them walk, and also exercise prescription when people come into clinics and give them exercises. Another treatment approach used in physiotherapy are manual treatment techniques, and this is where massage comes into it. So manual treatment techniques are hands-on treatment that are used to help relieve pain, stiffness, and kind of support blood flow to the injured parts. So I guess this is what most people know that physiotherapists do, but it's not just about that. There's different things that we do, such as mobs, etc., etc. I'm not going to bore you with them, but that's one of the approach. Another treatment approach is aquatic therapy, which is where treatment is carried underwater, and this is where you can see in a lot of like classes where they do the exercises underwater. And other techniques that physiotherapy tend to use as well is heat, cold, and the most popular one now is acupuncture. So again, this is just that different type of treatment approach that physiotherapists use. And I think it's important to know that there's a lot more. I've just kind of touched on a few. So I'd just like to say, massage is only one technique in our toolbox. We have a lot more that we do, and we do not just do massage. I don't know how many times we're going to say that, but we do not do just massage. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've learned something from this video and have a better understanding of what physiotherapy is all about. And that most importantly, we don't just do massage. I've also put some links in the description box of pages I found useful if you'd like more information. Please comment, like and share with your family and friends. Comment down any assumptions you had before watching this video. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you next time.